So Conor has responded to Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje said the following thing, and then Conor responded. Listen, we got we got to put it out there on the Jesse on Fire After Hours channel. So we're going to talk about those things. If you want to subscribe to this channel, that would be amazing. If you don't, then that's cold-blooded. But whatever, dude. Either way, we're going to talk about this Gaethje comment. Then we're going to talk about how Conor responded, and we'll go from there. I already did a video about the Gaethje one on my other channel. But we can talk about it real quick. Okay, so Gaethje said the following. Would I quit if Conor McGregor won and they gave him a title shot? Probably. That's how hurt I would be, but that's out of my control. I just really hope that doesn't happen. We can imagine a lot of things, but there's a possibility that that's the scenario, which I would be devastated for sure. Okay, first of all, devastated. There's no reason for that at all. Like Gaethje, his last 2 of 4 fights were title shots. They are obviously on Justin Gaethje's team. They love Gaethje. I love Gaethje. Every fan loves Gaethje. If you don't love Gaethje, what sport are you watching? Honestly. Like, I seriously have to, every time I talk about Gaethje, I feel like I need to ask that. Like, what is there not to like? Right? The guy goes out there and bangs it into the ground every single time. But that doesn't mean that every opinion he has is merited, because like he obviously is getting favored treatment from the UFC. 2 out of 4 fights are title shots. Not very many people can say that they've ever gotten 2. If you had an unsuccessful title shot, that they got another one after 1 fight in between. Think about that, you guys. He got a title shot, he lost a fight, then he won a fight, he lost the title shot. He had 1 win, and then he got another title shot. Okay? That only happens to people that the UFC really, really loves. Right? He gives them every reason to love, but like that's just truth. Now, Conor responded, and he responded in a way that I think was very, it was a strong response. Okay? So here's what he said. Not about any of the insults and stuff, but he said this. He said, "This brain-dead fool got a title shot off 1 single win, and it was versus Chandler. Yet he will quit and retire if I get the same thing. Classic Gaethje bird brain, 2 title attempts, no wins." Okay, so he's like, he's talking shit, but it's a pretty valid point, dude. He's fighting Chandler. If he gets, no one's saying that Conor would be deserving of a title shot if the criteria is what all these guys wish that it was. And it was like, it should be based off of wins. It should only be off wins. It should not be on marketability, which obviously is not the reality that we live in. Conor's the most marketable guy on earth. Of course, he's going to get any title shot that he possibly can be given without completely dissolving the credibility of the sport. But if here's the other thing. He's been out for years, right? That's the big question, right? That is honestly, that's the biggest question to ask yourself is, does Conor's time off erase his old stuff? Because it's like if a person's just coming back, do you put a lot of credence on a loss that a person has from 5 years ago, right? Probably not, right? And so if a person has taken a long layoff, he's been out since July of 21. He will have not fought for over 2 years by the time he fights, or 2 years at the minimum. And so if he gets a win, it's the new Conor. It's 2 years later. So do all of the wins and losses count for someone who's as marketable as Conor, who comes back and gets a signature win when the losses happened so long ago? And I'm not saying I have an answer, but that certainly is an argument for why getting a single signature win could set up a person who's as marketable as Conor for an immediate title shot, period. You know what I'm saying? That just is what it is, dude. Conor, he's not like you do. He's not like you. He is a special character in the UFC that does not play by the same rules. Everyone knows that. He's got a special, he's going to get the exemption from USADA. We all know that. And again, like I was saying earlier in my other video, if Justin Gaethje was the champion, he would want Conor to get a title shot. That's just, Gaethje can argue with me, and I'm not, if he says no, I wouldn't, then all right. I'm not going to argue with Justin Gaethje. But I would propose to you that I do believe that if Gaethje was the champion, he would want to fight Conor for the title. Of course, because the champion has back end on the pay-per-view, and Conor is going to drive an additional potentially 1 million pay-per-view buys. We're not talking about a small difference here. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think it would be 1 million from Gaethje to Conor, but it would definitely if you got Beneil Dariush versus Conor, you're talking about 7-figure difference in the pay-per-view buys. Think about that, dude. Millions of dollars to the champion. Millions of dollars to the champion. Difference. Because it's tiered too. So it's like the first 250,000 buys, they don't make anything. And then from 250 to whatever, they get a certain dollar amount. So like when you get over a certain threshold, they get like a big number per pay-per-view buy. It might be as high as like $5 or $7 or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is. But like, so when you're talking about those last 500,000 pay-per-view buys, when you get over that, like you're talking potentially $2.5, $3 million just for the last 500,000. I'm not even talking about the difference between if the Dariush one was going to sell 350,000 pay-per-view buys and, you know, from 350 up to like $1 million, right? That's 750 or 650,000 more buys right there. I'm talking about the last 500,000 buys that would be Conor over $1 million buys. It's just, it's so much money, dude. You know? So again, my opinion is, my opinion is just, it doesn't like, my opinion's irrelevant. I just know what the UFC is going to do. And I know that in the same situation, I'm sure that Gaethje would want Conor to get that title shot. That's all I'm saying. I think Conor's response was sound. I think Gaethje, I would love to see Gaethje get another title shot. He just needs another win, you know? So anyway, that's what I got. Love you guys.